morning, everybody. All right. Hopefully you can hear the sound of my voice and we can get things started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Nate Ivy in the air chair. Another beautiful day in city of Cincinnati. And as always, my pleasure to be with you. Good morning to you. Today is my son's 5th birthday. Yeah. And he's a junior. That's the way it's supposed to be. Good morning to you. This is, as I like to call it, the last honest place in Cincinnati media. No cap. I'm just saying. That's how I look at it. And we are a very interactive show here. You can interact with me by joining the Chop Shop, a.k.a. our chat room here via Spreaker. I'm not sure where you're listening right now, but you can go to nathanivy.com, click on today's title, and it'll take you to the chat room from Spreaker. You'll hear me mention Cyber Wakanda or the Chop Shop. I'm speaking of our chat room here. Good morning to the Choppers. Good morning to you. My music board completely wiped itself clean last night. You know, I hate when things happen like that, where you get like an update to one of your devices, and then you do the damn update and it wipes your damn data clean, huh? Well, they say things come in threes. That's the second thing. Now, for folks who are looking forward to another fabulous episode of the Cutting Through the BS podcast, we didn't do one yesterday. The crew is all ready to go. But I had, shall we say, car issues. To say it very, very lightly, we'll put it that way. But I'll connect with them and perhaps I'll see what their schedule is. And maybe we can do a makeup show. If not, then perhaps, then we'll catch up next week. I'll give you more details all about that. It's so funny because I was just talking about like people driving their phones and being distracted. And while I don't think a cell phone was involved in this situation, I still think there was some degree of being high. That's not destruction though. That's right. That's called the distracted driving is when you're like on your phone or you are, something like that. When you've got drugs in your system, they call that illegal. That's what they call that. Good morning to you. I want to talk about local issues. I want to talk about regional issues. I want to talk about national issues. I want to talk about cultural issues between now and 10 a.m. And plus, we may get a chance to talk with a couple of individuals. Let me confirm here. I want to confirm and give us some times because I want to catch up with a black female. She's a black female entrepreneur. And essentially, she had a bar that was open in what's called St. Bernard. And something happened. She comes to her location one day. It's all boarded up. She finds out the owner was contacted by law enforcement, and they shut her down, basically. And I'm just trying to figure out, why? Why? Hold on, let me confirm here. All right. We'll see if we can get it for 8:30 a.m. Now, we wait for that. The big news locally within the last 24 hours, I think, has to do with the upcoming Cincinnati mayoral race. There's going to be a race for mayor in 2021. It's going to be big time because whoever the mayor is going to be is going to set the tone for the near future for the city of Cincinnati, right? And if you're a particular demographic asking yourself, like, are we getting the most out of politics? Are we getting the kind of representation that we deserve? How are our issues being addressed? Whatever group you might be a part of, and in particular, I'm speaking about African Americans, then I think it matters. Like, how much does it really matter who the next mayor is? Well, it depends on what their agenda is and who it is. If they've got an aggressive agenda to close the inequities and the gaps, if they understand and realize that that's the work that needs to be done, it's all, let's make it happen, Captain. Let's make it happen. If you're going to tell people you're going to lift thousands of kids in poverty, we mean our second term. And then you say, we're just getting ready. We're just getting started. 2 years into your second term. Not so much. And leading up until last night, we already had at least one candidate whose name was officially out there in the not so, held closely rumor is that a member of city council named P.G. Sittenfeld is going to run for mayor. And as I said, up until last night, the only person who would actually put their name out there, and put it on the record is an African-American male member of city council named Christopher Smitherman, who's also the vice mayor. but he announced that he is not going to run for mayor in. Okay. That works. Sorry about that. I'm getting a message from Nakia Grumps. So we'll get a chance to talk with her about 9 a.m. this morning. So in about 33 minutes. And I just can't believe some of the things I heard yesterday. I heard a black man call into this show and say that a black person shouldn't put a business in St. Bernard. And if it gets closed down, not due to bad management, not due to bad service, not due to numerous, publicly discussed, nuisance complaints or anything like that, just appears to be shady, it's her fault. I started thinking I guess that the massacre of Black Wall Street, that was their fault. It wasn't the white folks' fault. It was those black entrepreneurs' fault because they dared to create Black Wall Street so close to where white people lived. They should have known better. That was some of the logic I heard yesterday. Crazy. But back to this. Smitherman writes, he announced that he will not run for mayor. And yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of his wife's death. Can you imagine that? I don't even want to. I've been married to my wife for 20 years. 20 freaking years I've been with this woman. Safe to say that we have a very, very close relationship. We have 2 children together. We have a lot of things that we've done together. To say I can't imagine doesn't really give enough weight to the phrase, right? To the whole scenario of losing somebody like that. I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine. And what's interesting is I had heard through the grapevine, I don't know, November of last year. It was right around the election. I heard it. I put it out there. And the response that I got was quite interesting. Told me something. But apparently those rumors I heard last year were in fact true. And I understand it. We don't have to go there, but quietly, not so quietly, people have been asking hey, do you really want to stay in the race when something like this happens with a family member? And, how do you tell somebody what to do? You can't tell somebody what to do. You have to respect whatever they're going to do, especially in a situation like that. So I wish the best for Mr. Smitherman. I know that's very difficult for people that support Mr. Smitherman. He says he's going to continue being on city council, and he's got a whole lot of other boards and stuff that he's a part of. He's going to continue doing all of that. And he says he might return to politics, or he might seek another office. Now, as I understand it, he's term limited out. So in 2021, all the people that hate on Smitherman, you love to talk about him, you love hating him, you support him. He won't be on city council anymore. He won't be there. So unless he decides he wants to run for some other position, I don't know. So we shall see. We shall see. So he's not going to run. And quite interesting. I got a typo here in Cincinnati on WCPO. It reads 2020 election. As I understand, it's the 2021 election. That's from WCPO staff. I need to check that. But who am I to say, right? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. I had almost forgotten about that stuff because I just, that whole thing with Mr. Smitherman's dearly departed wife was just such an ugly affair. And I'll say it again, trashy Trisha Mackey. Trashy Trisha Mackey. And that trashy little interview they did was the most trashiest local news moment of 2019. I forgot to say that. I had forgotten about it. That's right. Trashy Trisha. It is what it is. That was trash TV, man. Straight exploitation. Apparently they have 5 children together, man. That is such an awesome responsibility. So when the man said that he wants to dedicate in his family, I get it. I respect it. I want to understand 100%. I can't say what I would do in that situation, but I respect it. And there were some people saying different things. Clyde Bennett writes, great demonstration of fatherhood. It's not up to me to judge what another man does for his life. On another note, he has a very beautiful family. People said a few things. So what do you think? What does that mean? What does that mean for the future of Cincinnati in terms of who's going to run for mayor? Now that Christopher Smitherman has stepped out, is that going to open the door for someone else to step in? What have you heard? What have you heard? You live in Cincinnati. A lot of highly connected people in the room, I'm sure, are listening. And, you know, it kind of makes sense because it wasn't just me, although when I did it, people try to hate on me like, oh, you just don't like Smitherman. When I observed that he seemed to be obsessing about this whole Gang of Five thing way past the expiration, date. It's like, we don't want to drink that milk, man. That's been bad for 2 years. He's still going hard at it. Then the Inquirer, Jason Williams, picked up on it. On their podcast, That's So Cincinnati, they talked about it again. And again, that would explain it. Like, how many people have lost a spouse before? Like a spouse you have children with. I watched Rachel Maddow last night for the first time in a long time, and she just happened to have like some super big time guest named Parnas. And I'm listening to the man talk, and I was trying to understand what he was saying. He was talking about the Ukraine thing, and he kept saying and doubling down that Donald Trump knew about what was going on. Mike Pence knew what was about going on. Listen, here's the thing about this impeachment thing. I'll say it again. I would be surprised if there's any information that comes out in the impeachment phase that we don't already know about Donald Trump. And here's what we already know. Donald Trump is consumed with Donald Trump. He's the kind of guy that will use whatever leverage that he has available to him to get whatever his agenda is, his goal is in that particular time. If he's got to cozy up with the Russians and have his son-in-law and his son meet with Russian, go-betweens to get dirt on their American political rival, he'll do it. If he's got to build a hotel in D.C. where diplomats and foreign dignitaries can come in and do business, or have their conversations with the representative of the United States and also put money in his pocket, he'll do it. He'll do it. If he wants to golf, he'll go golfing. And if he's got a problem with Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, it don't really matter. It don't really matter. If he's got to use that with the Ukrainian president to try to whip up some dirt, then that's what he'll do. Period. And Trump supporters don't give a damn about this impeachment. This impeachment to Trump supporters is just like, see, they out there, they wasting government money. I would be very surprised if it has any real impact. But we'll find out together. We'll find out together. Here is my number. I'll throw it out. 513-873-7134. More local news. Later today at about 4 p.m. approximately, I'm going to try my best to be there, to be your eyes and ears on the scene. It's supposed to be a big meeting. A big meeting. Supposed to be a big meeting today between, like a joint meeting between the Cincinnati Council and also the Cincinnati School Board. Apparently, they've come up with a deal as it relates to tax abatements. And I guess they're going to come up with a deal that will satisfy the Cincinnati School Board. And I want to talk about what's already put out there, because if you live in the city of Cincinnati, this is a hot topic that people really care about. And there's going to be some action on it later on today. And I'll try to secure some interviews as well for tomorrow's show so we can talk to the people involved and get a sense of what this really means. All right, so buckle up. I'll say it again. This is the last honest place in Cincinnati media. All right, the Nathan Ivey Show, a daily digital show, the most dangerous talk show in Cincinnati. Good morning. Good morning. Open your mind before you open your mouth this morning. It's all good after that. Also, I want to remind you, coming up this Saturday is another Ohio Kings game. 6 p.m. It's your opportunity. If you haven't seen the game, Cincinnati's newest attraction, and they're doing like a $10,000 giveaway. Yeah. So you can go to the Kings, see some b-ball, support a black-owned business, and possibly win 10 stacks. I am okay with that. You can sign me up for that one. I'm cool with that one. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Good morning to you. That's just the tip of the iceberg, but I think it gives us a lot of things to talk about. Okay, again, coming up at 9 a.m., we'll talk with the owner of a bar, Gigis Bar and Grill, that was closed abruptly. Left her, quote unquote, shocked. And there's a bar, as I understand it, right across the street from her establishment. The hell? What do you think about everybody's trying to make a big deal about this thing between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders about did he say that a woman can be elected president? I've got evidence that a woman can be elected president in these United States. Now, we know that this is a sexist country. We know this is a very sexist country. We know that. We know there's men out there that would never follow the lead of a woman. You know there's women out there that don't want to follow the lead of a woman. I mean, there was black women that was hating on Yvette Simpson. I'll say it again. Even after the election. You know what I'm saying? For folks who know, no. Even after the election, she was getting hated on. It's a real thing. I know it sounds unbelievable, but it's a real thing. I'm not making this up. Couldn't make this up. Good morning to everybody. Pamela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Deborah writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Pat writes, good morning. Good morning to everybody. Miss Tiffany's in the house. She writes, morning. Good morning to you. Ray writes, grand risings all. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Baby Chopper will be 2 next week. What? That is so cool. That's right, dude. 2? Man. We have come a long way, and it has been a beautiful journey. 2, I remember 2. Those are all beautiful ages. You know, for me, raising kids, every age is a beautiful age so far. I liked him when he was 0. I liked him when he was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my son is 5. All that's great. He goes to school later, next school year. He's super excited today. There's nothing like seeing your children with a big old smile on their face, super excited about something that's not destructive. It's a beautiful thing. Brian writes morning. Brenda writes happy Thursday. It is a happy Thursday. Today is a lucky day. All right. Maybe hopefully much luckier than my yesterday. As I said, because today is my son's birthday. You know what I'm saying? All this going down with the wifey out of town. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a good look. Deborah writes, happy birthday to Baby Chopper. Absolutely. Sharp writes, good morning. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. CJ writes, morning all. Kelly writes, good morning. Beethoven's Lift writes, good morning, folks. If you are excited that Smitherman dropped out and would rather have a white man as mayor, don't scream racism about Ish. Am I excited that Smitherman dropped out? Not really. Actually, I was really sad, to be honest with you. From a media standpoint, I was looking forward to the smoke and the drama. I told you that. I was looking forward to it. And then also the conversation. You know, I'm all about the substantive conversation. I mean, you know, I'm like everybody else living in this viral world we live in. I like to smoke as long as it's not in my business, so my personal life, it's cool. But I think, you know, in terms of having a conversation, that's why I said, who's next? Who's next? I mean, I'm kind of neutral. I wasn't excited. I mean, from a media standpoint, I was excited because of the smoke. Personally, I was looking forward to a substantive conversation. So I was neutral. I mean, to me, as long as there are qualified candidates that have ideas that resonate with people that matter, we need leadership that understand what the real issue is and not just give us an agenda. And by us, I'm talking about the city, all the electorate in general, African Americans specifically. It shouldn't be you telling us what you're running on. It should be these are the issues that you should run on, no matter who's running for mayor or whatever office. I'm sure you feel the same way. Clue Magic's in the house. Hey, good to see you, Clue. Appreciate your patience, everything, brother. A little frantic there for a little bit. See, Camp writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Checking out the show live and local this morning by way of South Florida. It's cold. Okay. Yeah, I know you're going to be coming in the city soon, Cam. Hopefully we can connect. My weekends are busy, like everything else. I'm just, a lot of things going on. It's just that point in life, especially with having a wifey and 2 children, one of them 5, one of them being a junior. When you have a junior, that's a heavy responsibility. I got to make sure that boy is right. Got to make sure he's right. Brian writes, happy birthday, Junior. I'll pass this on. He woke up this morning, big old smile. It's my birthday, Daddy. I started thinking back 5 years ago when he was born. My wife said that she was pregnant, going through the whole pregnancy, thinking about like the day that they gave him to me, the whole 9 yards. It's a good time. Sharp writes, happy birthday, Junior. Beethoven writes, happy birthday, Lil Ivy, Future Wolf, and the Wolf-Fed Ayana. I'm not sure if to some degree he will be a future wolf. You're right. Kelly writes, happy birthday, Junior. Wow, 5 years already? I know, 5 years? I'm like, what the hell? He's what? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? He's 5'5". It's crazy out here. It really is, man. These kids growing up fast and shit. And I love it. He's so much more articulate. He's got an excellent preschool teacher who I think very highly of because she's teaching my son stuff. He's coming home talking about the universe and condensation and what are fogs. Coming home talking about we, like, speaking French. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tell the wife we got to take care of her. We have to take care of that teacher because she's taking care of us. With my son, I love it. You see, Mason Marler writes, I'm more excited to see who's going to run for all the open city seats. I think there will be about 6 openings. Yeah, they are going to be about six openings, not about 6. Like I said, it's going to be a revolution. It's going to be a majority new council. That's the way to look at it. It's a majority new council. Like the 6 new people coming in, you should look at them as a block because essentially that's the majority. It's going to be interesting. Cam writes, that rent deposit yes vote was big yesterday as well. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah. Oh, man, it's everywhere. I want to get into that because I think it's a good idea. Christopher Smitherman, I won't run for Cincinnati mayor. I have a higher calling, he says. And, taking care of his family. How could you not respect that? 100%. As any father, as any husband does. Man, I just feel, so emotional. It's such an emotional. When I see the picture of all of them together, oh my God, it just pulls on the heartstrings. It really does. Anybody with a family, you got to feel that way. Like any black man married to a black woman raising black children, any man in particular married to a woman you've invested in, that's a long time to be with one person. You know what I'm saying? Successful marriage. By all accounts, I never knew them really personally like that. Young children, they have a young daughter, I believe, that's 10 or 11. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't even grown. She about to go into her teenage years. And that's why I'm just so blessed to have the family. I know what's important. And that's important. That's the most important thing. Good morning here. What's this here? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I did see that. It doesn't really matter, though. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to know a damn thing these days. Oh, I see somebody is definitely with Alicia Reese, huh? Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Do you? Good morning. There's another bar next door, right? Mason Marlon writes, trashy Trisha. Yeah. Blue Magic writes, not trashy Trisha. Black Russian, who is that on your avatar? Is that Charles Barkley? The hell? He is not a role model. So why do you have him? What did Brian Shrive and the Ku Klux Coast do now? The Ku Klux Coast? That's hilarious. Terrence Wright said, good morning, everyone. Happy birthday to your Nate, son. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you. My son writes now, man, he's like in the cars. He's on his knees. He wears through all of his just like I did when I was a kid, right? My mother used to get so mad at me. Take those clothes off, boy, because I used to get home and I want to start playing. She come in there, I'd have my school clothes on. She hit the roof. You better take your clothes off. Because I forgot until I had, my son, and to realize that, kids at home, you get them some toys, little boy, man, they on their knees all day long. He's got about 50 different cars. He's just doing cars vroom, 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 all day long. I mean, what better sound is there to have in your house than that? You know what I'm saying? There is no better sound. Mr. Mueller writes, we didn't know Bill Barr, Pompeo, and Mike Pence were all a part of it until last night. Lev Parnas went Tekashi 6ix9ine last night. He toned over everybody. He did. He essentially tied them all together and said that everybody was in on the plot. It was quid pro quo as it relates to the Ukraine. And they were supposed to deliver some public denouncements and if not, some type of, the formation of an investigation against Joe Biden and perhaps his son. That's what it was. And Trump supporters probably think he did it, but it's like anything else. It's like he's our guy, so we're not going to get that upset about it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Did a quorum of school board members deliberate on this issue? School board announced they have a deal. How would they know that without public deliberations? Huh? Well, we should get Brian Shrive on it. Get Brian Shrive on it. He'll get to the bottom of it, I'm sure. CNN trying to make Bernie versus Warren an issue because Bernie is winning Iowa and New Hampshire when you downsling some of hashtag fake news around. Yeah, the whole thing about Bernie and did he say a woman could win? Listen, let me give you undeniable evidence that a woman can win. And by win, I mean become president. A woman can undeniably become president. And we all have evidence that it's true. And that evidence is the Russians. If the Russians didn't think that Hillary Clinton had a chance of winning, they would not have launched Voltron against the American electorate system. They would not have done all the things they did in 2016, which are well documented to the degree that they have the information, if they didn't think that Hillary Clinton could win. Putin would not have went as hard to influence our last election as he did if Hillary Clinton could not have won. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. But of course, in an electoral college system, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? And we just saw it. So even if Bernie did say it, so what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what was the context? Now, what if Bernie had said, I don't think a black man can win? Well, he didn't. And we already know that one can. His name was Barack Obama, right? If he did it, somebody else can do it. Maybe not. Maybe it'll take 10, 15 years, another 20 years, but it'll happen again. So a woman can certainly become president. No doubt. Everybody knows that. So I don't know what the big deal is. I really don't. But Black Russia writes, no one cares about impeachment. The Senate won't convict Donald. Won't convict. Dems just pumping up Trump. Even Al Sharpton watched the debate and said none of the Democrat candidates were ready to take on Trump. Hashtag alt middle. Well, I mean, this is in terms of the debates, the people on the stage are there because they met the standards set by the National Democrat Party. So, Camille writes, happy birthday, little Nate. I bet he's a chip off the old block. So far, so good. He is. I look at him, I see my wife, I see myself. He's named after me, and he looks like me. And it's a great thing. It really is. It's trippy, though. You look at this little boy like, damn. And so I do like all fathers do, like all parents do from the beginning of time, or time when they had pictures, is I go get baby pictures when I was around the same age of him, and I put it up next to him. I'm just a brown-skinned version of him. He's a lighter-skinned version of me. That's it. Cam writes, next it will be Pastor Smitherman. You funny for that. I can see it. You said a higher calling, huh? He could. He could. Magic writes, the Senate is supposed to remain impartial during the trial, right? Yeah, they're supposed to, but they're not. I mean, Mitch McConnell has already delivered, basically said they're going to have an acquittal. And they probably will. I mean, you know the Republicans are ruthless when they get a little bit of an edge. Don't let them get a majority. They're going to do whatever they want to do. Lev Parnas has nothing to do with the debates. Parnas verified that Ambassador Sondland testified to. Everyone knew about Ukraine, including Trump, Pompeo, and Bill Barr. Bill Barr is the U.S. Attorney General. Ray writes, yeah, correct. Nathan had to change into play clothes. Right. Don't mess with them school clothes. Man, I used to, just like my son does now, I used to wear out the knees. And then back in the day, my mother would buy these iron-on patches. We tried to do it, but I guess some things are better back in the 80s and 70s. I guess. It don't work so well. Get him some tough skins, Nate. The knees took a long time to wear out. Right. Cassandra's in the house. She writes, hey, Choppers, good morning to you. Good to see everybody. I won't mind a woman president, but will she hate women like Obama hated blacks? Obama hated black now? You know what I'm saying? Brian writes, love the outro song you and Junior created. Yeah. We got our little thing we do. I was just joking about it being a podcast. But we do our little thing at home. We got us a little band together. You know what I'm saying? Beethoven writes, the talk show host going to be pissed when his son grew up talking alt middle. I will be pissed. Be very disappointed. I'd be very disappointed if my son grew up doing that. You're right. Yeah, that'd be a little bit of a nightmare right there. So please don't bring it up. Let me jump around. Wait. Virginia school students can wear the Confederate flag on clothes. How nice. How convenient. What? Oh, that's great. Oh, hey, Renee, the extraordinary life and legacy of Stuart Scott. Yeah, Stuart Scott, man, was a dog. He really was. He really was. Stuart Scott was much more influential in the world of sports entertainment than most people really know in terms of the way these sportscasters talk. Because he was from the hip hop generation. He started putting it in his routine, in his act. And with a little bit of Jim Rome's too. I think Jim Rome was a big influence. Yeah, Stuart Scott was a dog, man. I always liked Stuart Scott. It was very, very sad. Did you see the video? It's been out for some time now of the young man, I know people have brought it up, who was asked a question about why he supports Donald Trump, and he couldn't give up one reason. Couldn't give up any reason. There's a lot of people that support Trump just because of the way that they get a reaction out of people. Like there's black people run around here with Make America Great hats on, and they're doing it because they want to get a reaction out of you. They like it. You know, they like doing a counter argument or being a contrarian. Right? What did the Dems did for you? You know, they like all of that. Yeah. I guess I'm different. Terrence writes, Mason Marley, you already know there's no comparison between Trump and Clinton impeachment processes. For one, Clinton wasn't accused of betraying our country. And like you referred to, Clinton provided documents and did not stonewall Congress in their investigative efforts. Not even close to the same scenario that Trump supporters tried to assert. Well, you know, I agree with that. I mean, that whole thing with with Clinton back in the day, I always thought it was a waste of time. He had a little girlfriend, and then he lied about it. You know, did you have sex? I mean, he said no. He said what a lot of married dudes are going to do. He's going to lie until he knows that he can't lie anymore. But you're not supposed, it's illegal to lie to the FBI about anything. And so they got him. With Trump, I'm with you 100%, Terrence. This is basically, you know, Trump would betray the country if it would benefit him. He tried to do it with the Russians. Right in plain sight. He admitted to it, like, yeah, you know, hey, they said they had some dirt for an opponent. I mean, wouldn't you do the same thing? And in today's world, people are so self-absorbed, they only care about themselves. They're like, yeah, I would. See, a lot of what we look at Trump and say is selfishness, Trump supporters will say is just him being real. A lot of what we would look at and say is an abuse of power or something like that, Trump supporters will say that's him just being a human being. But let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. This is Nakaya calling in.
Hi, Nakaya. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay this morning. Thank you for your time. I'm trying to get my levels right. Now, are we on speaker because you're driving?
We are, but I'm about to take you off. Give me just a sec.
Okay.
I got you. All right. Oh, no.
We got Nakaya Grooms on the line, folks. And she was the owner of Gigis Bar and Grill that was shut down abruptly. Hey, Nakaya, you there?
I'm here. Is that better for you?
That is better for me. Let me just double check my levels, make sure it's nice and pleasant for everybody, and we can just get started. Thank you so much for your time. And unfortunately, you know, I saw what was happening with your bar and grill over in St. Bernard, and I know there was a news report out, boy, that gave some more details. But for people who haven't heard any of the news details, tell us what happened with you and your bar.
Basically, I came up to the bar about a week and a half ago on a Monday to drop off a few supplies. We're closed on Mondays. And when I go to put my key in, my keys don't work. The locks have been changed. There was a note in the window saying closed and a business card attached to a note from the St. Bernard Police Department. So I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. Nobody had called me, talked to me. I hadn't had any incidents. So I first called the gentleman who I was leasing the building from to see if he knew what was going on, but I wasn't getting any answer. So I eventually ended up calling St. Bernard Police and spoke with the chief. And he made me aware that there was a meeting without myself with the building owner. And at the end of the day, you know, they're trying to put it on him saying that, you know, he chose to change the locks. But essentially, he told me there were a multitude of noise complaints from the neighborhood and neighbors around me. And when I asked for copies of those complaints, I was told that they were mainly verbal to the chief himself, kind of somebody pulling him to the side or calling in, but there were no actual written complaints. So myself, nor the news reporter, nor my lawyer has been able to obtain any copy of complaints, and I've been locked out ever since.
Wow. So they're saying they got complaints, but there was nothing on paper.
Nothing on paper.
And so tell me the location. You're in St. Bernard. Are there other bars near your location?
There's a bar right next door. There's myself, electronics store right next to myself, and right next to that electronics store, there's another bar next. So we're all on the same block, like literally next door to each other.
And you did play music and like things like that, and have people at the bar. I mean, that's what happens at bars, right?
Did.
Okay.
That's what happens at typical bars. I did ask the chief whether the music was a music complaint, because multiple times I was very cognizant that there was some residential people living around the bar. So I would go outside. You can never hear our music. And he did say himself it was not the music. It wasn't any really music complaints at all. It was more so we have an outside beer garden, so it would be the people talking in the beer garden, or when people actually left the bar. I guess he said they were noisy.
Okay. That's odd. Let me back up here. So tell me how you came to that location in St. Bernard. Why that location? How did the whole process start?
I found that location actually on a Craigslist listing. I went and spoke with the gentleman who was leasing the bar out. It is actually what made me make the decision to take the building or accept that location is it was a lease purchase. So in 3 years, I was to purchase that building. Everything that I was paying him monthly, 100% of that went towards me buying the building. And then, at the end of that 3-year lease, I would have to pay the balance off and go ahead and, liquor license was to transfer over to my name. Everything was mine. Also, when I went, even though it needs some upgrading just to be a little bit more modern or contemporary looking, it was set up. I literally was able to take the keys on a Friday and open up on a Monday. There were things there. I just had to get some inventory, liquor inventory and things of that nature. But I was able to work on the place as I go. It wasn't like I needed, dramatic. It didn't need a dramatic transformation to get open. Also, it had a beer garden, so that was a plus for me because I wanted an outside area for people to go, and I wanted to do bands outside in the spring and summer. So it allotted me to do everything that was my goal for my first bar, basically. And it came, like I said, it came with the liquor license. What better? You can't really get a better deal to kind of fall in your lap. But as they say and go, sometimes things are too good to be true.
Were you ever concerned about the location? Like, this is
I
St.
was
Bernard.
not. My mom was. I was never concerned, and I guess because a kid kind of going to the school for creative performing arts. Then I graduated from Aiken, grew up downtown, worked in majority places where it was all white. I've always fit in. I guess I'll just put it that way. I've always fit in. I've never had a problem. My mom really didn't teach us, race, to discriminate against one other race or look at it like, you're going to have a hard time because you're black. It just wasn't taught to me, and I just never had a hard time. This is the first time, I guess, it's been kind of blatantly just put in my face. And I've been kind of let people make up their own decisions based off what's been said and what's been done. But, the feeling for me is discrimination of what's going on. And I guess I never really concerned myself with it. The neighbors always came. Like, I get plenty of there's 3 houses right behind me. Those folks come in and patronize the business all the time. There's other neighbors that come in that live out throughout St. Bernard. They came in for New Year's Eve. They did a bar crawl there for Christmas. I haven't had any problems with the actual neighbors. So the issue since I moved in has always been with the police. They've always said little comments, but they haven't really bothered me.
Okay.
To any sense. They haven't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to cut you off. I was just curious, like, what were some of the comments that the neighbors would hit you with?
Well, it wasn't the neighbors, it was the police. The neighbors were awesome. Like I said, I had plenty of neighbors who were like, we're so glad you're here. This is awesome. A few of them were, we're glad there's a more lively place here. But the officers, I had one officer tell me, I just went out. He was sitting outside one day, and I walked out to make sure everything was okay. This was kind of in the summer when I first came, towards the end of summer. And I went and introduced myself to him, make sure everything was okay. And towards the end of his comment, he's like, well, this is Mayberry, and we like to keep it that way. And me, sometimes things go over your head. I didn't think twice of it until I told my mom, and she was like really peed off. And I'm like, what's the problem? She was like, that's some BS to say to somebody. Mayberry was the Andy Griffin show. It was all white, share, kind of just a little hick town, or whatever. She was like, so for him to say that, it's kind of almost like a smack in the face, like they wanted to stay a little hick town. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. But nothing else came of it. But just that before this meeting they so-called had, the meeting was supposedly on a Monday per the chief, but when I talked to my actual landlord, he told me that he was called in that previous Friday at midnight. And the meeting was between the chief, that same lieutenant who made that comment to myself, and they discussed the matter. And I had just spoke with that same lieutenant the day before. It's a Thursday. Thursday is our most busiest day. So on Thursday, I have literally probably about 100 people, maybe just a little over, under or over, just depends on, the week. But it's about that every Thursday. And he was standing outside speaking with my security guard, but they were kind of just having, just normal conversation, talking about other police officers and security guards. They knew nothing serious. And I came out once I was done, with everything. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, I asked you a question. He's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, are you guys, am I able to hire you guys for private duty just for somebody to sit out? Because, it's been 6 months. So I'm trying to figure out things, to start doing on my busy nights. I don't know how it works in St. Bernard, but I know at any bar or club I've ever been in, whether you go to OTR, if you're in St. Bernard, wherever you are, once you get pretty busy, you want to make sure you have security intact, no matter what type of crowd you think you have, because you don't know what anybody can do. So I was being proactive with already having my security guards in place. Now I wanted to involve St. Bernard just to be, kind of get in good with the community. Like, okay, let me put some money back into their pocket. And he was like, yeah, you just got to talk to the chief. The chief gets approval from the mayor and kind of goes from there. I was like, okay, we'll do that. Not once did he say that there was a meeting the next day. You might want to stop in, talk to them. There's been some issues or anything of that nature. So, like I said, again, I was unaware that we had a problem.
Right. So how could you even address? Right. So how can you even address anything if you don't know there's a problem? That is so crazy. Let me get I'm speaking with Nakaya, and I've been saying Nakia for the last week, so thank you for correcting Nakaya.
Okay. No problem.
She was the owner of Gigis Bar and Grill that was just shut down suddenly, and she's giving us the details. I really appreciate your time. But it's a lot of people have questions. I want to try to get as many in as I can. Someone wants to know, did you ever speak with the St. Bernard City Council? Do you look at that as a recourse? Is that a direction you want to go in?
I have had a few of the residents on my comments suggest that. I don't know when their city council meeting is, but that is part of a recourse. At this point, I don't want to go back into the bar. I'm just being honest. At this point, I just want my due just and to go on about my business. Because what I feel like is going to happen is if I was to be allotted back into that building, that life is going to become very hard for myself and my customers in that location.
Right. So how does that work out? Are you going to get a refund? Because to me, you had a different kind of deal. It was kind of like a rent-to-own deal, right? So
exactly.
And it sounds like he's the one who made the decision to shut you down.
Certainly.
And to me, it doesn't just affect the lease agreement, but it affects your livelihood and your business. I mean, what happens next?
That is my lawyer's next step. She's trying to get some information from the police and I guess from Joe's attorney himself. It definitely has affected my financial state. It had went from, making some money to absolutely nothing right now, like nothing. Just at the drop of a dime, the blink of an eye. I'm not currently making anything. So that's why I started the GoFundMe. for the attorney fees. But at this point, that was the lawyer told me to make the decision if I wanted to stay or if I wanted to go. But after I heard my landlord himself tell the reporter, that St. Bernard basically threatened him, telling him that there was going to be eventually going to be a shooting. Our security guards using wands. When have you ever seen them in St. Bernard? It's like they already have a target out on my back. So why stay?
Right. Have you have any other people reached out to you? Is there a way? Is there a neighborhood or a location that you kind of got in mind? Would you do it all over again and go back to St. Bernard?
No, probably not back in St. Bernard. Probably not in any small municipality, just because you work your butt off as an entrepreneur to build up something. And for anyone to feel like the police department, the landlord, anyone, and don't get me wrong, it's up until this point, me and the landlord had an excellent relationship. I don't want anyone to get that misconstrued. I never felt one racist vibe or sense of discrimination from him on his end ever. I don't know what all was said in that meeting. I just know what he told me and what he told the reporter. For them actually to twist his arm and kind of threaten to take the license, I get that part or whatever, but there's procedures to everything. So my issue with him is the way it went about. I never was warned about anything. I never was told about anything. And it comes to a point where you have to kind of look out for yourself. And it's like everyone else is looking out for themselves and no one really cared when I came on Monday and couldn't get in my building.
Right. Yeah. See, I know you say he's a great guy and all, the landlord. I'm sure he is, but I don't like him in this because at the very least, and tell me I'm wrong, okay, you have this meeting and the police chief, they say these things, they put pressure on you. Okay. Did he ever contact you? Like for me, you should never walk up to the door and be met with a card and the landowner knows. Yep. He should at least send you a text like, look, let me let you know what you're going to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Nathan. And that's my issue with him at this point. That's all I've ever said to him. Like, Joe, why would you not at least even give me a warning, tell me what's going on, say, hey, we might, I might need you to sit low for a little bit, something so I know what's going on. I literally was blindsided by everything that happened. To me, noise complaints is not a reason for you to shut somebody down because everyday bars have noise complaints every day.
Right.
They're bars. So we haven't had any fights. There hasn't been any threat of any violence. There hasn't been any shootings. Like for them to jump to these type of conclusions just because you now have this large group of black customers, basically customer base, on a specific day, and to say that there's going to be a shooting because I took the precautions to have security guard to make sure my customers are safe and anybody else around that neighborhood is safe, to me is disheartening and just is crazy.
What would you say to people who say you never should have been in St. Bernard in the first place? Because I've got people in my audience who I've been arguing with for the last 2 days about this. Have you heard that? Has anybody said that to you?
No one has said that to me. What people have said is St. Bernard has always been a racist city. Get your business out of there. I've heard that quite a bit lately. What I'll say to them is you cannot be afraid to do anything in life. If you're afraid, you stay stagnated. And sometimes some things need to happen for you to learn different lessons in life, in business, and just everyday living. And this was just a lesson for me. Really deter me from ever doing business again? Oh, no. I'm looking for another spot as we speak. But will I be more conscious about the history of a neighborhood and what is currently happening in that neighborhood and kind of talk more to the neighbors before I just jump and do something? Mm-hmm. Something, absolutely.
That's real. Absolutely. Right, that's fair. Which leads to, what would you do differently? Would you, like build more relationships? Seek out more relationships? Had you ever met the police chief?
I actually bought cookies for the entire police department when I first moved in and sat down with the police chief personally.
Wow. Okay. So you already know.
at my bar. Yeah. So I didn't, that day he did not rub me any wrong way. They actually was concerned. I had a bike night like a couple of weeks after my open that had turned out pretty big. And they just wanted some information on, you know, if I was going to do that every week or every month or how I was going to do it. I told him it'd probably be monthly, you know. We sat down very cordially. He was like, you know, just with the bike night, can you kind of give me a heads up just so we can patrol a little bit heavier, just going up and down just to make sure the guys don't get hurt because we had a lot of motorcycle incidents. I was okay with that. And when I had my next one, I let them know, you know, or whatever. But it wasn't until really the customer base, I think it picked up a lot quicker than people assumed it would. And that's when I kind of started getting like sly remarks from some of the officers, or every time they would have some kind of traffic stop, they would come and ask me questions, you know, and things of that nature. And it came to the point where I told them about the traffic stop. I don't know everybody who comes to my bar. I don't even know these people if they actually came from my bar, if you're just saying they came from here. 90% of these people are strangers. They come off my Facebook page, you know, things like this from word of mouth. So I'm not going to keep being integrated about people that you're pulling over. That is not my, you know, that's not my business. That's your business. You're a police officer. You guys patrol the street. And that was the extent of that. And I kind of think, you know, maybe they didn't like that, you know, but it's just like, it's kind of being harassed. Like, I don't want to keep being harassed by people that you guys are pulling over.
Right.
I'm not a traffic officer.
Right. Someone wants to know, how long was the bar open?
6 months.
6 months. You said that earlier.
Still fresh.
Wow. Here's Pamela has I guess some suggestions. She writes, tell her to look at the city council minutes for all the months that she was open. The minutes are on their website. They talk about police and ambulance runs during the meetings. Is that something you thought about?
I definitely think.
Yeah, that might help you out.
No, I have not, and that is something I will look into because I didn't have any information regarding that.
Now, it'd be interesting. You pull those minutes up, and they're sitting in there talking about you and your bar.
Absolutely,
that'll be real interesting.
Absolutely. I can say that I went to City Hall and met with some of the building guys, and they said they haven't heard a peep about the bar at all, not even through the grapevine. So I would be interested to see what those minutes say.
Well, Nakia, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And you got to GoFundMe up, and people can find it on your Facebook page. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's definitely for the legal fees. Still collecting. I feel like it's going to be quite a fight. I don't know how long, but I got a battle ahead of me.
Well, hopefully the new space will open, and when it does, I will support you and promote you, and just let us know. We'll stay connected.
I appreciate that, Nathan. Thank you, and I thank everybody who supported so far.
Oh, absolutely. That's Nakia, everybody. Yeah, thank you so much for her time. Got about 20 minutes with her this morning, and we got the story. Sounds like a very sharp woman to me. She had cookies with the chief. I mean, that's what you got to do. You new in town. You got to, you got to establish yourself, build some relationships. Sounds like she did that. Sounds to me like some old micro, Black Wall Street type shit where the sister was getting successful. See, that's how everything is. At first, it's like, we ain't going to say shit because we don't know if you're going to be successful. And then it's like, oh, you being successful? Oh, we got to kill this. Oh, no. Oh. She said they didn't have no fights or nothing. It's probably sitting back waiting for some violence to jump off. Then they can run in and have a reason to try to shut everything down. That's what it sounds like to me. And I asked the question that I would. That question was for Fame, who seemed to suggest that she shouldn't have been in St. Bernard, which I think is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And she talked about why she got an opportunity. The liquor license was there. They talking about rent to own. That sounds great. Rent to own in 3 years with the liquor license. That's why she did it. And you can't anticipate somebody else's crazy and somebody else's racism. You can't anticipate that. To me, from what I sound like, it sounds to me like she is resilient and she's going to bounce back. She's like, oh, stop it. I'm looking for the next bar. I'm like, word? Exactly. Because see, winning would be Yeah, they probably winning would be she never opens up again and she takes the situation, she let it beat her down and she stops being an entrepreneur and trying to do her own thing. That's letting these suckers win. Like, you can't control a place you don't own. They want you gone, you gone. But it's that spirit that really matters. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Guy, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I told you she shouldn't have been there. And she proved me right.
She proved you right.
She even said her mama told her, "Don't fuck with Saint Bernard."
That's not what she said, but her mother expressed some concerns.
Exactly. It's not that we should be fighting to go be included. That's black flight. She's saying she went to Aiken and all these other different places, open up a neighborhood bar in your hood and clean it up. You're talking about security at a bar in a white neighborhood. That don't do nothing but raise eyebrows. Why the hell does we don't have security at our own bars, is what them white folks is looking at. We don't do that in a white neighborhood. Put security like that outside, armed security outside of a bar. Even though there's tendencies of knife fights to occur, there's still something missing from this story, that somebody's not telling the truth. I just don't see the police putting pressure on the owner to fuck with his pockets like that. After 6 months, there's still a layer of this onion that is missing, if I could use Cam Wise metaphor. There's still a layer of this onion missing that somebody's not telling. Because what she's essentially wants us to believe is that for no reason at all, the police chief pressured the building owner, the spot owner, to close up and close this woman out, and eventually affect his bottom line for no reason at all. Therefore, he would have a lawsuit against the city of St. Bernard as well. There's something missing. Quit trying to play us and play on our emotional reactions to perceived racism. She made a bad decision, which she almost pretty much said herself, did she not? Toward the end of the call, did she not almost admit that she made a bad decision?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think she answered the question. Like, I asked the question directly. What would you say to people who said you never should have went to St. Bernard? She answered, and that wasn't the way that she answered that question.
That wasn't those exact words, but, how many of us have the humility within us to admit we fucked up? You see, Tracy Hunter won't do it.
A lot of people. There's a lot of people out there can admit when they fucked up.
No, they don't. Black people are too arrogant to admit we fucked up. I made a bad business decision going into that neighborhood. Because she opened up by saying her mama told her.
Hindsight is always 20/20. You ever heard that phrase before?
Oh, I've heard it. Yeah. I've heard it a million times.
I know you have. So,
but your mammy told you, stay the fuck away from them people.
That's not what her mother told her. At least that's not what she said today.
Those weren't the exact words, but that's what her mama intimated to her. It ain't worth it. You're up here trying to force integration on the people. There's nothing brave about that. Like I said yesterday, those civil rights pioneers, they fought for the right to not be kicked and spit on walking down the street, not open a bar, not rent a bar space in urban Appalachia.
You need to go pick up some books, man. Fuck the books. Get your ass on YouTube and do some educational stuff, bro. Because you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You sound nuts.
Okay.
You sound like you calling from the 50s.
I could sound, I sound however you want me to sound. The fact remains that this woman played herself.
Yeah, she played herself. Anything else, man? You are out there today, bro.
I listen.
It's like you listen to two different interviews. Do you know what we're talking about? I mean, if that's true, then that means that to use your logic and to take it in context into a much more serious terms of racial violence scenario, to use your logic, that means Black Wall Street, the destruction of it, is the black people's fault because they dared to open up businesses too close to white people. That's ridiculous, bro. You got ancient thinking.
No, I did not say that. Black Wall Street.
You didn't exactly say that, but that's what you're implying very, very strongly.
For you to even compare this situation to Black Wall Street is an insult to Black Wall Street. And
actually, it's not, because this is a microaggression minus the violence. It's the same thing.
People died in Black Wall Street.
It's destroying black businesses. No, it's white people destroying black businesses because they look at them as a threat if they're successful.
Did anybody die as a result of?
We know nobody died. I took the violence point out.
Therefore, that is an insult to the people that died.
Well, you're right.
Black Wall Street.
I think your line of thinking is an insult to the people that died in Black Wall Street. Because, like I said, you're implying that black people are to blame themselves because you open up a business in the wrong part of town.
What I'm
That's what you're
implying
saying.
is take some goddamn responsibility for the mistakes you make.
Right. And the mistake was opening a business in a white part of town. That's what you're saying. And I don't see that as a mistake in 2019.
You could try to
maybe 1919, and that's why I use Black Wall Street.
You could try to front and put me out there for the shtick of your show, but the fact remains, her mama agrees with me. Oh!
Your howl tells me something different. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a nice throaty howl. You weren't confident. You sound ridiculous, man. Your logic makes no sense. How you gonna blame this sister because she opened up a business and was successful? I don't care where it was. With Fame's kind of thinking, we would all Fame would have never, Harry would have showed up like, come on, y'all. We getting up north. What y'all going up north for? You better not leave. You better not leave. Master, they trying to leave. That's Fame right there. Hey, Master, they trying to leave. Talking about wrong side of time. It's 2019. It's not 1919. I don't give a damn where it was. So what? You know what I'm saying? And that's not the point. The point isn't where it was. It's what went down. Though I do agree, though. I think at the very end, you made a very compelling point when you said that if the police chief, through some less than above board reasons, pressured the property owner into doing this and therefore pressured him into losing money, that he might have a case. Now, you got a point there. You're very good. I don't say you don't make some good points. There's a little bit of sugar in all that shit you talking. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life, man. Excuse my language. I didn't mean to flip out, man. I just caught off guard with it. Like, what the hell did you just say? I mean, hey, sorry I was supposed to die in Black Wall Street. It's your fault, according to Fame, because you opened up a business too close to white people. You should have been further from them, and it would have been harder for them to come and destroy and kill and rape and pillage. What the hell? Oh, my gosh. I got a theory behind it. I just want to wait. So let me go straight to the phones here. Let me welcome in Drop. What's up, Drop?
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. I joined the show just in time to hear your caller and this pending story that we needed clarification on. And Mr. Ivy, I kind of half agree with Fame, and I kind of 100% agree with you as far as Fame's take. But Mr. Ivy, my take is the owner of the business saw this as an opportunity to add some stimulus to the community, and he was probably more than likely a white person in the community that wanted to give this young black entrepreneur a shot, because based on the terms that she described in the lease agreement, it was exactly that. It was a trial to see if her business would fit in with the community. And apparently in 6 months, with the so-called traffic stops that she mentioned. I don't know why she would mention traffic stops in relationship to her business, other than the fact that when she was open, a certain type of clientele came into Mayberry that Mayberry just wasn't prepared to receive. So it sounds like, again, Mr. Ivy, I appreciate the young lady's ambition, and she is the future. She is that young black person that I talk about all the time, and how they see things different than us old nigwas like Mason Waller and other people in the chop shop who are over 50 years old. So I appreciate the young lady's ambition. I think she's going to learn from this. I think this is going to make her stronger. And I really think that the next time she goes into a business venture like this, she's going to take a little more time to prepare and really get the business part of the community before she moves in. And that's my take, Mr. Ivy. But, man, Fang, I mean, come on, Fang. I mean, sometimes we as black people, we have a generational gap when it comes to the mindset and how black people approach economic ventures. Because the days of opening up fish shops and soul food joints, those days are kind of over as a business model, and it's starting to spread out into more than just brick and mortar. So that's my take, Mr. Ivy. Thank you for taking my call. And peace in the chop shop, people. Be nice. Be nice to the conceited bastard. Later.
Most def. Take it easy. We'll rack them. Let's drop. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, we all have different opinions. You hear me give a very strong opinion, but it's just an opinion. I mean, we can agree to disagree. I mean, I don't want to be disagreeable. Let's go straight back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, comrade.
Good morning. Good morning. What's on your mind?
Man, this whole situation with the bar owner, this is totally the landlord's fault. Totally. I'm the landlord. The police is going to say whatever they're going to say, but the landlord just can't change locks. He just can't change locks. I mean, that's basic landlord-tenant stuff. He can't just change the locks and give no notice. Like, all of a sudden, just one day she show up and the locks changed by the landlord. That's an illegal eviction. Like, you can't do that anywhere. And see, he keeps saying, and I read the article, because at first I had heard about it, but I wasn't too familiar with it. So I read the article from WCPO. The landlord is totally out of order here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she needs to go after the landlord. The landlord, see, he don't think that she gonna go after her. That's why he keeps saying he likes her, and he's built this relationship with her so that she don't sue him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's my perspective on
right.
it. It's like, I can like you all I want, but if you owe me some money or if you cost me some money, then we go into court. Unless you can give me my money back or give me what I'm owed. Actually, because she could have made money. Like the day she's been locked out is money she's lost.
Exactly.
Based upon the lease. You know what I'm saying? So really and truly, she can go after that landlord and get some stacks from him.
It sounds like she is. And that's why she's
trying
to raise...
like she raised the money. I don't know. It sounds like she's kind of like she don't want to do that, though. She want to blame the police, and I get that.
No. She said, I asked her a question about, she said her lawyer was looking into it.
Yeah, well, hopefully the lawyer does her justice and goes after the landlord. I'm going after the police. You can't really do that in this scenario. The police is in the landlord's ear, and the landlord. And another thing is, apparently the liquor license belongs to the landlord. Like, that's not her liquor license.
Correct. That's my understanding as well.
So the landlord was concerned about the liquor license. That don't mean that the eviction wasn't illegal, though.
And all of the damages that she's been incurring every single day since then, all the money she would have made, the average of all the money she would have made in the month leading up to that is what he's costing her.
Right. Plus all the supplies she said she showed up with that she couldn't use. It's a bad scenario. I don't want to blame St. Bernard for that. I mean, I agree with Fam. Yeah, maybe not St. Bernard. Maybe it wasn't the best spot. I agree with him partially on that. But that don't mean the landlord is dead wrong. And that's what I didn't really hear from her. Like, it was like the landlord's cool, she's cool with the landlord, and the landlord said in the article he cool with her. But it's like, this is business. Like, you have to go after the landlord for that.
Right.
Like, you done lost on all this money. I don't know how long her lease was. It could have been a year lease. I'm not sure about that, whether it was month to month or anything. But based upon the lease, if she got a year-long lease with him, and this has only been open for 6 months, not only does she get the money that she lost since she's been locked out, she get the money for the rest of the 6 months. This is crazy. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. The landlord did that. And it's like, it's glossed over that the landlord is wrong. The landlord did wrong. I don't give a damn if the police is talking to you every day about it. It's going to be a shooting up here, blah, blah, blah. He got to live with the lease.
Great flows, man.
That's troubling, bro.
I'm with you, man.
That's
I mean,
troubling.
I think you're making excellent points. I agree.
Man.
Right. I mean, like,
I feel bad for the sister, bro.
How does she walk to her door without any notification and the doors are closed and there's a card there? The hell?
Right. Like, why would the police put the card there? That don't make a whole lot of sense either. Because the police technically didn't shut her down. The landlord did.
Exactly.
The policeman, the policeman made a conduit that got into the landlord's ear.
Right.
But, this is collusion. This is real collusion right here. People want to talk about collusion. This is real collusion between the police department and this landlord. But the police are going to cost this landlord a hell of a lot of money if the system follows through.
I think she will.
Man.
I hope she does. Again, that's why she raised the money. Too. I hope she does, because that's what should happen. Like I said, I don't agree at all that you shouldn't put a business in St. Bernard, because that's where she got her opportunity. To me, this whole process is the process that should be happening, and it should go legal. That's what should happen. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of different reasons, that's what's going to push it forward. That's how I look at it. So I don't fault her going to St. Bernard, because it's never how you start, it's how you finish. That's where she opened. That doesn't mean she was going to be there in 3 years or 4 years. If she grows, she was probably going to look somewhere anyway. So they probably just, this is just happening faster than it was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, it's probably a temporary spot.
Temporary.
I get that.
But this is the process of pushing the culture forward and pushing back on this nonsense. This is the process.
I hope she sued the hell out of the landlord. Because, the police department going to do what they do. The police department use these tactics on business owners all the time, where they feel like it's dangerous, it's going to cost them more work. They're getting the landlord's ear about their tenants or whatever. But that don't mean the landlords do a knee-jerk reaction and start locking doors without notice. Like, they can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that on residential. You damn sure can't do that on commercial.
Anything else?
So, man, I'm disappointed that my buddy, the vice mayor, dropped out.
That's
but,
right.
he got to do what he got to do for his family.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Oh, you have to. You have to, man. I was looking forward to the drama.
Hey, I can't say I wasn't either.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We talked about this before. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. But I wonder what his future is now, man. Damn, we've been talking about Smitherman in the political scene for so long. He only got, 2 years left on city council? Any insight on what the brother might do after that?
Yeah, it's well, I don't want to say, but I don't think it's the last time you're going to see him.
So I know you got to find local political mind. Let's project to 21. What opportunities might be available in 2022, 23, 24, 25?
Well, 22, Stephanie Dumas is up for re-election for county commissioner. And, she barely got on county commission.
True.
So.
True.
And she a Democrat, so, it's going to be a lot of people gunning for her because, she won that seat by a hair with basically no money. So think about somebody who got some money, who got some name recognition, other than Monzel, even if it's another African-American who's on the other side of the political spectrum.
Okay, interesting. Let me flash forward real quick. Well, before we do that, do you see anybody else jumping in the race now that Smitherman's jumped out?
For mayor, It's really hard to say. I think with it being 2020, I think there's going to be I think there's some people in races right now in 2020 who, if they don't win their race, might jump in and run for mayor. I heard Mark Mallory thought about coming back. I don't know how true it is, but he could be perhaps a walk-on. I mean, it's the worst kept political secret in the city that PG's going to jump in. But I think that. Well, number one, I would never support PG Sittenfield for mayor. That's me. But he still got that potential that special prosecutors out here. So I don't think he's going to jump in until all that's taken care of. Because I don't see him jumping in the race with this special prosecutor still lurking around. He'll probably jump in once it's all handled, if it ever gets handled. But
interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody else off the top of my head. I don't know. I like to see Eric Kearney jump in. I like to see that
for mayor.
Yeah, I like Eric Kearney.
Yeah, I do too. I think
he got the right experience. He's been a state senator. Kicking around some other names. I don't know, man. It's. I was looking forward to the vice mayor, but it's kind of bare. I don't know. I don't know. I think a well-funded African American Democrat could win this race, though, for sure.
Speaking of Christmas Smitherman, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, even if PG jumped in, I think a well-funded African American candidate could win this race.
Oh, I mean, it's possible. It's possible. For sure.
Yeah, what was you going to ask you? I'm sorry.
Just about Smitherman. How's he really doing, man? No, that's your boy.
I haven't talked to him in a while, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
But I wish him well. I hope things are going well for him. Having 5 kids, as a widower, it's got to be tough.
Excruciatingly tough, man.
Yeah. Sure. You have a life partner for 29 years, and all of a sudden she's not there. I couldn't imagine.
All right, brother. Anything else on your mind?
Man, hey, somebody just texted me a potential candidate for mayor. They said, I'm hearing Kelly Prather for mayor.
Kelly Prather for mayor?
Yes, that's what somebody just texted me.
Well, don't we got to get through Hamilton County Commissioner first?
No, she's done, bro. Come on.
Speaking of which, I'm talking to her tomorrow.
Tell her to drop out of the race, bro. Please.
I'm not going to tell her.
Tell her to get out.
Nah, I would never do that, man.
I know, I'll be facetious with you. I'm just like, come on, man.
I mean, we'll see.
She ran for city council, U.S. Senate. This is Brian Gary status right here.
Brian Gary status? What in the hell?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say, man?
Well,
Brian Gary status.
Hey, I read one of the media dudes call her a perennial candidate.
I mean,
that's like, this is what you do.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what she want to run for office. She want to hold public office.
She want to run for office, but can she win? And that's the thing about it. Like,
people thought Trump couldn't win.
This ain't Donald Trump, bro.
I know.
I mean, this ain't Donald Trump. This is totally opposite of Donald Trump. Like, we're talking about Donald Trump. People knew who Donald Trump was, and he had a whole lot of money in the bank to run. Like, she ain't got neither one of those things going for her.
You just gonna tear this sister down this morning? Is this really necessary?
Bro, I'll keep it at 100. If I didn't think Terrence could win, I'll be like, hey, bro, don't even run, bro. I tell him the same damn thing I'm saying on the radio about Kelly Prather. Like, Terrence, nah, bro. Nah, you can't win, bro. Just don't even do it. I would tell my own brother this. So I'm not sitting there sparing anybody's feelings, bro. She's gonna end up trying to hurt Alicia Reese. And nobody, people are saying that, but she don't want to hear that. And that's cool, I get it. But you're gonna end up hurting Alicia Reese, bro. And then and it's gonna be unfortunate. Because Alicia Reese is gonna need all the help she can get to beat Connie Pillage. And $500,000 in the bank.
Facts.
But somebody text me Kelly Prather for mayor.
People got jokes out there.
You even laughing, bro? It's funny.
The jokes, man.
I know it is a joke. It is a joke.
Man, let me get you off this line. You are just...
Yeah, all right. I'll holler at you, bro.
Hey, take it easy, man. He's silly, man. It's Das Vidania, I think. I don't know. But that's interesting. Speaking of which, Kelly Prather is scheduled to give us a call tomorrow. We'll catch up with Kelly Prather tomorrow and get a sense of, what her platform is. And I will ask her. People asked you that about Alicia Reese, that you might take votes away from her and, stuff like that. I will not shy away from the questions. And we'll see what she says. We'll see what she says. I mean, I'm never here to tell somebody not to run. I mean, Gabe Davis, run. Do your thing. Fallon Rucker, do your thing. I mean, because that's her path. Maybe Kelly really wants to be an elected official. These opportunities come up. She's like, it's America. I'm going to shoot my shot. She's just shooting her shot politically. That's how I look at it. But how do you look at it? That's what's really important. 513-873-7134 coming up at 10 a.m. this morning. Oh, man. Cam writes, Mayor of Madisonville? You are wrong. You are wrong. You are so wrong. Brian writes, I heard the landlord on the call during the interview that he sounded like they pulled him into their office and had a good old boy conversation. Get her out of there or we'll take your liquor license or whatever else. Yeah, that was the impression I got from the article or some bit of media that I saw. It could have been the news, the video of it. Mason Marler writes, I run for mayor, county commissioner, and senate. So y'all going way too freaking far this morning. You're going way too far. Again, man, it's a lot of smart intel. I think it's a reflection of the host. It's just a reflection. It's a lot of smart, intelligent people. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear how he was able to get in a good word for his brother? Y'all might have missed that. It was very clever. Let's see. Cam writes, this WKRP in Cincinnati mentality is amazing. Blue Magic writes, police intimidated the landlord. I agree, BR. The onus is on the landlord. He let the police talk him into it. I think her issue is with the landlord, not the city or the police. That's Pamela Kinney. Tracy writes, fix that battery, T-Grag. I think she meant T-Grag. She just had Greg. I think I missed a little bit of a dust up in here a little bit. I missed that. Hey, good morning to you, TNT. Good to see you. Brian writes, we can't limit our options to make white people feel comfortable. Imagine if our ancestors did that. Shaking my damn head at fame. Brian put that far more succinctly and eloquently than I've been struggling to do this morning over and over again. What he just said. He's right. You can't limit your options to make white folks feel better. Make you force you out then. This is what it is. We here until otherwise notified. And if you do it the wrong way, and again, but see, if you go back to what Nakaya said, she said that her income has been severely impacted by this. And see, that's how it is for working class people. When they turn off how you can make money, that severely limits your ability to get legal representation, even though you might have a case. Man, I bet you this same thing has happened before, and nobody went to the media, and nobody got sued, and whoever the black person was, they just ate it and didn't say shit and went along their way, and they had a case. Probably because they were struggling with the money and couldn't put it up. You know, you start with groceries or getting a lawyer for something that might pay off down the road somewhere. That happens all the time, I bet, man. All the time. Working class people keep taking it. Miss D writes, greetings. Good morning to you. Drop writes, Fame, I half agree with you. The half I don't agree is her taking a risk to move into that community. Thank you so much. It wasn't a dumb move. I mean, in hindsight, you might look back and say, I could look back and say, that's like me looking back and saying I shouldn't have did a lot of things that I might have left the situation abruptly, right? You don't second guess the move. You just try to do your hardest, do your best, and then, to exercise that super, super go hard muscle to make that muscle super, super strong. And you deal with it legally if you're in a position to do it. But you don't shy away from the position. She said that she found it on Craigslist. And then I think Cam was in here like, who finds a business opportunity on Craigslist? Well, I bet there's a lot of business opportunities on Craigslist, if you know what I'm saying. But, I mean, people sell shit on Craigslist all the time, man. I mean, that's a wet place that's like saying Facebook. Now we know why she took the deal. It came with the liquor license. And he was talking about rent to own and then transferring the liquor license to her. Now, I don't know a lot about the bar business, but, it seems to me that those would be some things that I might take seriously if I wanted to be in the bar business. She also said it was ready-made. All she had to do was walk in. So for people out there, the naysayers saying, why she go over to that white people? You're supposed to stay in your place. There it is. She had a deal that where she was, sounds like it was what she wanted to do. That's why. I mean, as if we didn't already know why. That's why. You think she did it because she just wanted to love white people? She just wanted to love white people and then spend her money. That's not why. She had opportunity. She shot her shot. Something tells me, hopefully, that she'll get back on her feet. That's what I think. Tracy writes, the police made the landlord do it. Sue them both. Beethoven writes, she's a drag queen. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Cam writes, Aunt B made cookies for the people of Mayberry. So that's so nice. GTHOH. Get the hell out of here. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Cam, but she made the cookies with the chief because they the law. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're a new entrepreneur. She was white or whatever. You're new to this area. You're a new business owner. You want to get to know everybody. You want everybody to know who you are, right? You want to go around and introduce yourself. Hey, I'm such and such. I just opened this. You're a part of that community right there. But you're new to it, so you got to introduce yourself and try to, build relationships. Cookies, brownies, street tacos. I don't give a damn. I mean, she was just trying to. The idea is just to introduce herself. She said she didn't pick up any vibes. She was smart to do that. And don't say, well, didn't you say Tracy Hunter didn't have no cookies before? Anybody said there's a different context, whole different dynamics. She just had the wrong type of business for that community. Nah, I don't think she had the wrong type of business. Something tells me that if it was a white-owned establishment, then, maybe it didn't go down. Maybe it doesn't go down like that. Maybe. Or maybe it does. Brian, this woman is your kin, so your opinion is completely biased. She played herself. She made a mistake, a bad business decision. I don't know why he wants to brand this woman as making a mistake. It's important to Fame. Fame is invested in it now. Like, he has to get people to agree with him that it was Nakaya's fault. Like, I don't know why you want to invest in that, brother, but okay. You do you. You do you. Cam writes, invest in the community with cookies? No, the cookies are just something to eat while humans are talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, sharing food is an ancient ritual that humans have been doing for a long time. That's why even among, like, you go to a party, you bring something. That's like a very, like, communal kind of human thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like going out to lunch with somebody or something like that. So, she said, I'm bringing over a little snack, firefighters. I mean, if she had brought donuts, it would have been, y'all, you bias. You think every police officer brings donuts? She brought cookies. Damn. Y'all so harsh. Cam writes, Invest with cash, not cookies. Milk and cookies. Shaking my head. I don't even know what you're talking about, Cam. Cassandra writes, she has a strong case against both the landlord and the police. I get those millions and up somewhere else. The longer it takes to go through the courts, the more money she's missing because her business is closed. Well, yeah, I hope she hit them in the pockets, is able to get stabilizers, finds her a new spots, and gets back to doing what she making her money out of. And when she does, I will support her with whatever platform I have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. Just off the strength. Just for the culture. TNT writes, BR, don't even talk about public records. Says you a wife beater. So Negro, please. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. She ain't having it. She is not having it. Oh man. Mason Muller, I run. I think that's for Mayor County Committee. Y'all are wrong, man. Y'all wrong. I don't give a damn how many times Kelly Prather runs. She seems to be somebody that cares about her community. You know what I'm saying? Can't say about for everybody. All right, I'm reading back through your comments here. I want to try to get everything in before I make this move coming up. Pamela writes, there is a brewery next to Chili Time in St. Bernard. You can hear the music down the street. I own property in St. Bernard and never have had any problems with St. Bernard, but that is me. My father owned a business in St. Bernard over 20 years and had no problems. I agree that something is missing from the story. I will say that St. Bernard court is mostly black, but that is from speeding tickets. Bottom line, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour and they will catch you. They may not catch you today, but guaranteed one day they will catch you. Well, they haven't caught me. I used to work I used to drive through St. Bernard to and from to work for the Free Store Food Bank at their Tennessee Avenue operations site. And they told me about who, I'm not sure. Somebody told me about the cops. I think it was some coworkers. They never caught me. But I used to see them out. They would catch people. I always did the speed limit. I had no problem with that. She said, your father had a business for 20 years, huh? Damn, see, that just contradicts fame once again, as if you can't be black and own a business in St. Bernard. Cam writes, St. Bernard is not Black Wall Street. Well, it is and it isn't. I'm talking about a microcosm, like a micro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what was Black Wall Street? Essentially, what did it represent? Well, whatever it represented is exactly what Nakiah Groom's G&G bar represented on a smaller level. And again, there was no violence, but the violence was just a means to destroy these thriving black economic centers. And white people got, all in their feelings many, many years ago and decided to wipe out the competition and to wipe out things that reflected them and projected them negatively about themselves. And it could be the same thing that was play here. Could be. But again, I thought that while Fame was completely off base with a lot of that, there was a little bit of sugar in all that shit he was talking in terms of what he said about there's more to the story, because I agree. I agree with that. Cam writes, not a mistake, Nate, but perhaps a miscalculation and a misread, bro. No, this is what was supposed to happen. There are no mistakes. What happened is what was supposed to happen. It might happen again and over again until sometime in the future the culture pulls forward or, things change. And if that's a goal that we have in mind, not necessarily for me, I'm not trying to, diversify St. Bernard per se, but just in terms of the idea of people that look like us getting opportunities and being able to be successful or not successful based upon themselves, right? And what they're trying to do and not some other, like we said, I think we all agree there's something else to the story. And whatever that is, it may be revealed. It may be revealed. You know what? I'm going to reach out to the property owner. That's what I'm going to do. Because I'm curious now. I'm going to reach out to the property owner. I'm going to reach out to Nakiah and see if I can't get that gentleman's contact information, and or I'll try some other means. Because I wonder if he might be interested in giving us a call and maybe we might be able to get to the bottom of it, or at least get a sense of what's going on if we talk to him. I mean, we could talk with the police. I could put it out, but I think that takes us in a different direction. If we all agree that the landlord, it should be the focus, let's see. Matter of fact, I'm going to send her a message right now, actually. Right now. Let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to send her a message to her right while I'm thinking about it. And then I got to get out of here. Now, don't forget, the NAACP Truth to Power podcast is going to be live today. They're going to be streaming at about 1 p.m. during that 1 p.m. hour. So if you're around, please check it out. Perhaps you want to interact. They maybe have some things to talk about that is on your radar screen, and or can get your thoughts percolating, get you thinking critically and thinking about what's going on. So please like and share when you see the stream off of our Facebook page and also my personal page. And of course, I'll post it up everywhere, including the friends page as well. And you can also subscribe. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You can also subscribe. Got a well wisher. Yeah, I'm still here. It's like, Nate, appreciate the perseverance. Yeah, it's easy to do. It's easy to do. Let me see here. That's their side, her side, and somewhere in there is the truth. Sounds like she was hustled by the city of St. Bernard. Hustled by the city of St. Bernard. Cassandra writes, Nate, he's not going to talk to you. He probably scared of retaliations by the police. He's going to keep his mouth shut. I'd be surprised if he talked to anyone. I don't disagree with that. That would be my first guess, but, we'll see. Black Russia writes, no one is listening to that BS. They have like 2 listeners. Not true. Not true. Let's see here. Beethoven writes, Nathan, just accept the fact that the Black Wall Street comment was whack, B. Let me see. Should I accept the fact that it was whack? Let me think about this for a second. I will admit that because of the violence, which is paramount to that story, that some might see it as a stretch. I can definitely see that. I can admit that part. But conceptually, in terms of the concept of Black businesses being under assault, macro, micro, I still maintain that. I still maintain that. Oh my God, they going hard in here. Constructive criticism is cool and all, but some criticism, cash criticism is better, I write. It certainly is, Brian. Because that's what she's saying. She's saying, I'm trying to get my legal fees up so I can get my justice, is what she's saying. I mean, just so for people be thinking like, if you're thinking like, okay, so what can I do if you want to help her? You can find her on Facebook, and there is a link inside of the friends page, and you can find that link, and I'll repost it again inside there, so it's at the top. Matter of fact, I'll post it at the very top and pin it there for a bit during the day if people are interested, and that's how you can support her. That's what she's saying. That was one of the points, and also so we know what happened, what really went on, and then talking with her, I was reminded as to why, because I remember when we first talked with her, she was just opening up. I just want to support. You know what I'm saying? I just want to support Black businesses in the city of Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Period. Right? That's like that's my way of helping. You know what I'm saying? And, that's very valuable time. That's very valuable time. So I don't take that lightly. I don't just do it willy-nilly. Because, that's my business, right? That's how I do what I do. But I think that's how you got to push things forward. See, oh my God. Beethoven writes, Nathan, if she has a legit case, any lawyer worth her law license will take her on a contingency basis. She made a bad decision, that's all. Okay. Well, if you keep repeating things, they say that sometimes it'll stick. So you keep repeating it, but it's not going to stick with me. but I understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. 100%. All right, before we roll, I want to just do a quick walkthrough of what's going on in the world, because we've been primarily talking about that and just a few topics. And you know me, I like to give you a sense of what people may be talking about throughout the rest of the day and what may or may not be on your radar screen. You know, maybe it's something that you're aware of, maybe you're not. And, okay, all right. Again, we'll have to just agree to disagree on that one. I'm okay with that. Black Russia TNT still going hard. She writes, both of you clowns are dismissed. Cassandra, you might be totally right. You might be totally right, but I'm going to try anyway. You never know. Cam writes, pink cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by St. Bernard. Is that right? Oh. No. Oh, okay. This has been going on for some time now, I see. Okay. 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 Yeah, I'm on my Facebook page now. That whole, the impeachment, I'm following the impeachment because it's national news. But personally, am I super invested in I want to see the outcome just because of the drama and all of the political and all that stuff about it. But I don't think it's going to have an effect on Donald Trump. I really don't. I think that the biggest thing that the Democrats can do is to focus on putting up a good candidate with quality ideas, with the ability to do what it takes to win in 2020. That's number one. Whomever the candidate is, investing in the impeachment to somehow damage the candidacy of Donald Trump is, I think that's a losing effort to me personally. You know what I'm saying? That's the wrong way to go. You know, so let me just talk about this really, really quickly. This, again, I'm not saying this is going to be on your radar screen per se. And every single year, well, not every single year, but I remember going back many years ago, a listener sent a book to me called An Act of State. That was the title of it. And it was a part of a series of books. It was written by a man, a white male, who was a lawyer who was very, very close to the King family. This white male knew the King family, knew Dr. King. There's photographs of the two of them together, and was so close to the King family that after the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered, that many years later, the family used him as their attorney in a civil lawsuit that happened back in the 90s that is probably one of the most underreported things in recent American history. You know, the most underreported things. I mean, there's a lot of underreported things that happened to the King family, like his mother being killed, like Dr. King being stabbed, right? Like somebody hit him with a brick. Right, there's a lot of stuff, man. A lot of brutality, a lot of brutal things that happen to the King family that have been really, really super, I think, under focused on. Like the information is out there, and I'm very proud to say that I got a chance to interview William Pepper a couple times, maybe 3 times, and I'm not going to play the clips of that conversation. But I've even played some of the clips of the conversation, just going back on the Reverend Martin Luther King Day. Because to me, on King Day, you should talk about Dr. King kind of stuff. It should be King topics. That's just me. And one of those King topics, because I like to push the paradigm, is who really killed King. And we all really know that Lee Harvey Oswald, because that was the patsy for JFK. But we already know that there was a patsy, you know, in terms of who killed Martin Luther King. We know that. We already know that. we know that the FBI was putting super pressure on Dr. King. Have you ever heard of the suicide letter? The suicide letter? Yeah. Suicide letter. There was a letter that was sent from the FBI, written by someone in the FBI. Was it Hoover? I don't know. That basically was telling Dr. King that his time was up and that he was going to be dead soon and that he might as well just commit suicide. And sent this letter to himself, hoping that his wife, Coretta Scott King, would find it, which she did. It's called the suicide letter. A letter written by a representative of the United States government to a private citizen recommending that you commit suicide because your time was up. That's how bold that shit was. Could you imagine getting a letter saying like something like that from the current FBI director? Yeah. It would be a tense situation, to say the least, right? It'd be a very tense situation. But that's what Dr. King was dealing with. Yeah, he was dealing with all kinds of nonsense. And about a year ago, there was a video that was loaded from an interview that had a clip from William, this white male lawyer who was, William Pepper, who was very close to the King family, and he has some new information allegedly. And he says that in his book, he actually gives the name of a person who he thinks actually killed the Reverend, actually fired the shot the day that injured the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Because the new spin is, not even a new spin, but new information is, and newly discussed, old information, is that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King did not die at the scene. He was mortally injured, but he was killed by white racist doctors at the hospital. Apparently they smothered him out, spit on his body. I'm just telling you what the story is. And smothered him out. Have you heard this? Have you heard this? This is what people are saying. This is what people are talking about as it relates to the Reverend. I'm telling you, you probably already heard this before. I'm not telling you something you don't already know. I just want to reiterate it. And I'm sure there is someone out there who does not know. Maybe you ain't heard. This is what's been going on. I mean, it's wild. Could you imagine that? So they're saying that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King did not die at the scene. He was taken to the hospital where he was about to go into surgery. And the lead surgeon comes in and is like, let that N-word die. Right? Something like that. Drop Rights. Nate, post this and more on Twitter. Facebook is whack. Okay, I will. So apparently they take King into this emergency, right? They're about to go commit surgery. I mean, they're about to start surgery to try to save his life. Doctor comes in, is like, nah, They take out the tubes, you know what I'm saying? They take out the pillow from underneath his head, put it on top of his face, and smother him out. Like we're gonna finish the job. You believe something like that can happen? Do you believe that something like that could have? You heard that? I know you have. Hold on, I want to pull up this audio clip for you here, and I want you to hear this interview for yourself. And it is quite fascinating. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember them telling us in the history books that he was smothered out. You know, it would be better, right? Because there was already riots and violence after the death of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. But could you imagine if it had gotten out, if in fact it's true, that he was smothered out at the hospital? Could you imagine what the reaction could have been? I don't know. I wasn't in those times, but just based upon what happened to me, people would have taken it a lot harder if Martin Luther King, if they knew that Martin Luther King first suffered an assassin's bullet that mortally injured him. They take him to a place where you're supposed to be healed. and medical professionals snuff them out. Like, that's a whole nother level of outrage right there. That's a whole nother level of outrage. Damn. They would have put the world on fire, man. That would have been a problem right there. It would have been, let's just say it would have been worse. I can't tell you what would have happened. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here with you. I don't really know what would have happened. But I can tell you that I think it would have been worse. So this is, I'm not sure if you heard this before. This is a news clip that was on RT, which is Russian, right? RT network. And they did an interview with William Pepper. And then the reporter goes back to the newsroom and she reports back as to, kind of filling in a blank as they're having this interview with William Pepper. So check this out.
So like I said, I spoke to Dr. Pepper earlier today. Here's what he had to say about the way Dr. Martin Luther King was actually killed.
Wow.
He wasn't killed from the bullet that hit him on the balcony. He was taken to the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, "Get out of here, let that die." And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby. And when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body lying on a bed there, then she saw Dr. Bland take the catheters out of Martin's body and take the pillow from under his head and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that's how Martin King died. That's how he was really assassinated. Now, he might have died anyway from the bullet wounds, but he didn't. He was still alive and still breathing. The chief neurosurgeon, he intervened and he made sure that death would result.
Wow.
Right? My jaw was on the floor. Now, Dr. Pepper knows this because the son of the nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, who died, but before she died told her family, the son of this nurse told Dr. Pepper under oath. And when Dr. Pepper confronted a member of the Dixie Mafia, he said, yes, this happened, and actually that the chief of surgery was their family doctor, and that 3 weeks before the assassination, he visited them and said, hey, if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure he goes to St. Joseph's, because we will make sure that he dies. Now, let's talk about this case, okay? This was the civil suit in 1999 where Pepper represented the King family, and that really made the family feel like they had closure, and like I said, it was the only trial ever held. The Memphis jury in this case decided that local, state, and federal governments were liable for King's death, and that this was a real conspiracy, a conspiracy between the U.S. military, the Memphis PD, and Dixie Mafia, these crime figures in Memphis, Tennessee.
This is just for the audience.
Right.
This is a civil case that was brought, much like the O.J. case.
Right, where
they couldn't find him guilty here, but finally when a civil jury heard it, they came out with a
It was the only trial, yes. And there was 30 days of trial, and over 70 witnesses were heard. And Dr. Pepper told me earlier today that it took the jury less than an hour to decide after these 30 days
that this was a true conspiracy.
Correct.
Where others may have been involved.
Correct.
Other than the person who was accused.
And that James Earl Ray was the fall man, and that he was unwittingly, unknowingly part of this conspiracy. And the real shooter, I gotta say this, even though we can't get to the whole story, was Frank Strouser. He was a Memphis police officer, the best shot in the Memphis PD, and he was the one who actually fired the fatal shot.
Now, I want you to remember, if you haven't heard that information before, I mean, you've got to go to the source and check it out for yourself and tell me if you think it's credible. If you think it is credible, it's chilling. And I can see why they would cover it up, because you already knew it was racism. But if it was generally known that medical professionals snuffed them out afterward, that just brings like another level to the whole insidiousness of it, as if you could get any more levels, or there any more levels are really necessary. She said they was spitting on his body, laying there defenseless, a victim of an assassin's bullet. That's how deep it is. I don't know if it's true or not. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, just saying, I wouldn't doubt it. What reason would I have to doubt that could be true? None. None. You know what I'm saying? None whatsoever. Listen, that is my time. I have got to make a move. I've got a bunch of stuff to do today, and I'll be back with you bright and early tomorrow morning. We can chop it up. Again, my guest is scheduled to be Kelly Prather. She is running for Hamilton County Commissioner, and we'll get her opinion about the issues. And if you have thoughts, as always, I'll try to get your questions in, and we'll chop it up. But I wanted to leave with that. And they ended with the name of the man, the two men who actually killed King. One was a Memphis police officer sharpshooter that injured him. And the other was the doctor, the surgeon, the neurosurgeon, who came in and said, hey, let this N-word die. If, in fact, that's true. But we don't know what's true about King. And people say, well, they couldn't have a conspiracy like that. Sure they could. Because most people keep their nose clean and they don't want no smoke. And even if they see something, they're not even going to talk about it because they don't want no smoke. They ain't trying to get caught up with nothing. And that is the kind of thing that a woman would confess on her deathbed. You know what I'm saying? That you know what really happened. Like, what kind of medical professional is that? Now, what's interesting is that happened allegedly when in the 60s, right? Flash forward to the modern day times in Cincinnati, where shout out to the Queens Village and the good folks who are trying to raise awareness about the plight of Black infant mortality rate. And if you remember what Jocelyn said when she came on, because I do, she said that it really speaks to the lack of treatment, the mistreatment of their mothers during the process. So, yeah, I ain't telling you nothing you don't already know. You're very smart, intelligent people. All right. Have an excellent day. Am I missing anything? Anybody trying to send me a message or before we roll out of here? I'm going to have to reschedule my guests with the brother Barber, who has an excellent new book. I'll try to catch up with him very, very quickly. Shout out to Nakaya for coming on today. I appreciate it. And her time. Yeah, that was chilling. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Pat writes, have a great day. Black Russia writes, the Sharonville fight at Waffle House was real. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Mike Davis writes, Judge Joe Brown been saying this for years. He has. And you know what's funny is that was a Vlad TV interview, right? You know what's so funny about us is Omarion talking about, you know, how he feel about his baby mama having sex with his ex-bandmate got way more clicks, millions more clips, plays, than does those interviews with Judge Joe Brown. But Judge Joe Brown, essentially Judge Joe Brown, hold on. Right. Hold on, let me find that. Because did Judge Joe Brown say in his interview that he died later at the hospital? If that's what you mean, you're right about that. He has been saying it, but people kind of didn't know what that meant. You know what I'm saying? You know, they went after Martin Luther King's mama. Yeah, she was shot dead in the church. In the church. I didn't know that Martin Luther King's mama got shot in the church until I was in college. That just goes to speak to you about the miseducation. Because, like, everybody understands that Martin was assassinated. It's a bad thing. But when you realize his mama was assassinated, it gives you a grander scope of just how insidious white supremacy was and is. Right? It gives you a sense of just how deep the issue really is. You know, it's one thing if we kind of know that the man they say killed him didn't really kill him, and it was probably more people involved. Like, we've come to accept that. It's kind of like, yeah, it was effed up. Shot his mama in the church 6 years after he was killed. In the church. So killing black people in churches, you know, what Dylan Roof did was not that too far. Not that too far. Real bad boys move in silence. Who in here being fake hard? Uh-oh. I don't know. Don't know. Cam writes, maybe the bar lady should open the bar in Sharonville then. Oh my God. I've heard that smothered out story, and for the times, it isn't hard to believe, Nate, but I've also heard that second and third vertebrae were shattered and those control respirations. Nate posts this and more on Twitter. Facebook is whack. I've read that, I think, 3 times now. All right, I got to make a move. I want to leave you with that. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m., and we'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. Have an excellent day, and we'll talk real soon. We'll talk real soon. Have a great Thursday, choppers. And I'm out.